Hi, I'm Dave, and I know comics. Do you want a supervillain that's just a Tim Burton version of Spider-Man on crack? Do you want a supervillain that hasn't been good in decades? And do you want an anti-hero that was the first of what is now way too many symbiotes? Then allow me to introduce to you my client for Dave Knows Comics Honest Promos, the secret of the use, that 70s guy, the used condom of the comic book world, Venom. Behold, the living suit that was created because Peter Parker needed a new costume. Because naturally, when you rip the clothes, you have to cover it up by wearing an alien. I wonder how the don't wear fur people feel about this one. Oh, and if that's not weird enough, you know how sometimes when you're in a really smothering relationship and the person you're dating really tries to be whatever you want them to be? Well, this alien costume does pretty much the same thing by being able to turn into other clothes, just so you never need to be apart. I mean, how needy is that? Guess that explains why the symbiote got all butthurt after Peter left. But after all, they do say it's the man that makes the mantle, which makes it a bit confusing because the Venom symbiote has had more men inside of it than the Black Widow on a Friday night. And these men have had varying levels of quality. Like Matt Gargan, a guy who was the crappy Scorpion and was the OG Spidey baddie who couldn't change his clothes all by himself. And so, like any dork in high school, Gargan tried to be one of the cool kids by wearing what the other cool kids were wearing. And of course, it didn't work. But speaking of the other cool kids, we might as well talk about Venom's most recognized host, Eddie Brock. A total waste of a guy who's built just like Captain America that is given superpowers because his career in journalism failed? Which he blames on Spider-Man. Hey meathead, I'm pretty sure your job as a reporter was never gonna work out anyway. Just stick to bench presses and squats, you jock douchebag. But when it comes to Brock's totally badass physique and intimidating stature, naturally when he made his big screen debut, of course he would be played by Topher Grace. Were they planning on duct taping 3 of him together or something? And ever since proving that Sam Raimi seemingly hates all comic books printed after 1985, Venom is now finally getting another chance to crap the bed like a turd in the wind? Yep, Topher Grace pulled a Bart Simpson by praying for his archenemy to be killed, and Venom is almost quoting Wesley from The Princess Bride. But wait, let's just pull back, because maybe Venom is still the coolest character ever. Even though it really seems like the only good storylines he's ever had was his origin story and Carnage's. Alright, so he does suffer from some bad writing, but it's not his only weakness. Remember, he's also allergic to heat and sound, so I guess his biggest enemy should really be a Kiss concert. In the end, if you want another supervillain that Tom Hardy is going to play with an unintelligible accent, a supervillain that was surprisingly played a lot better by Hank Azaria, and a supervillain who is bound to get a good movie sooner or later, then allow me to introduce to you my client for Dave Knows Comics Honest Promos, the costume that everyone hated right after Secret Wars, Venom. It's pronounced symbiote. Period. It's like all those idiots who pronounce biopic wrong. Dumbasses.